Hey guys, this is Jose from Council of Fiends with...
Paul Rodriguez.
And what did you play today?
I played Swordsoul.
Alright, damn. And what place did you get?
I got top 10.
Top 10? Top 16? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
top 16.
Alright, bet. Alright. Down with the deck profile.
Alright, for sure. Alright, so honestly, most of the main deck stuff is like pretty standard. Atelier, 3 long yon. I play 2 tie. Some people play 1, but I feel with like desires at 2, it's better to play 2 so that it's less likely that you banish it. It's really nice, especially later on. You're gonna see that I play the Reborn spell.
Okay.
And then I play 3 Ecclesia, of course. This card's insane. Going second or going first, it's a starter. It's just, you know, it's a free special summon. And most important thing about this is like it's an inherit summon, so it doesn't burn you off of Masquerade. Then for the 10 Ys, I got 3 Adhara, 3 Ashuna, and 2 Vishuddha, and Shithana. A lot of people don't play Shithana. They do run 3 Ashuna always, and then they change between like either 2 of this or 3 of this, or you know, vice versa.
Has there ever been a time where you missed the 3rd Vishuddha?
Where I missed the 3rd Vishuddha?
Off of Desires or something?
Yeah, not today, but yesterday when I was playing at locals, I desired it. I got rid of both of my Vishuddha, so it made my vessel dead. But I like the ratio because you want to see this at the very least, extras of these, because if you have this engraver in hand, it makes it much easier to go into the Chowfang line, while also ensuring that you have a 10-Yi in hand to either proc Moye or to proc Long Yuan later on.
Okay, that's wild.
So that's it for like the regular main deck monsters and everything. Then we got the hand trap lineup. In this deck, I'm running 9. So
9?
Yeah, 3 Ash, 2 Bell, 2 Valor, and 2 DD Crow. So Ash, I think, is the strongest hand trap in this format, hands down. That's not matchup specific, like Jordan Lock, Nibiru, things like that. And then the other 2 are just like flex. For the most part, the deck was built to beat Despia, because that's what I expected to be the top matchup, and that was what was most of my matchups. I think I had like 3 rounds were Despia. The reason I play both of these though is you want to see them, but at the same time, if they have lost, you can only use DD Crow. You can't use these 2. So it's nice to spread it out rather than just like go 3 on this and 3 on this.
Because then if they open up Branded Lost, then Bell is dead.
Yeah, Bell's dead, Baylor's dead. DD Crow's the only one that's alive. So, I don't know. I like it personally. This hand trap felt nice. I was running Imperm as well, but I took that out for Chalices.
Oh, wow.
And, I'll explain why, once we get there.
All right.
And for the spell lineup, 2 Desires just got hit off the bad list. You need to play 2, you know? But I'm just saying it's the right ratio, you gotta play 2. Then you got 3 Chalice.
So why the Chalice?
So the Chalice, I main deck it just because I do know there are some builds that are either Virtual World or Drytron that they foolish token collector.
Oh, wow.
And token collector you just want to be able to get rid of, period. Like, just have an answer to it at all times. And for example, if someone's just like Saki playing going second that wants to beat Swordsoul, and it's just nice to have. You want to make sure you don't lose the token collector. A lot of my losses while testing have been to just token collector by itself. But Forbidden Chalice is also just nice as a flex spot where you can stop Mirror Jade. If they don't have Poly, you can chain it to Chimera if they don't have Loss. And other matchups like that I saw today. It's not good against Salad, but it is good against like the Therion matchup where they go Regulus, you can chain it. You know, it's just good to like force out another negate. Most of the time, this is gonna bait out a card, or it's just gonna plus you a card.
And why not Droplet, if you don't mind me asking?
Why not drop? Because, as a matter of fact, every person that I played against Swordsoul, they were running Droplets. they went too neg in the sense that they had to get rid of too many cards to out my board. I would either have 2 or I'd have 3. That's too much that you can't afford to lose in Swordsoul. You want that card advantage. And if I had the droplets, I'd probably still run the Chalice, to be honest.
So you'd be running both of them together?
No, I'd just be running the Chalice.
Okay.
I wouldn't be running the droplets. I feel like it just hurts too much of your hand, and you need your entire hand to play. Every card is important in Swordsoul, especially because it's not necessarily a 1-card starter. You need 2 cards at any point. But a lot of people like to call them 1-card starters because normal summon Moye, and then you can do a full combo. But other than that, I like Chalice. It came up a lot of times, and I'm still debating between whether this is better or Imperm's better. I'm leaning towards this just because it's a quick play and you can have a monster and bait on something and chain it to.
Yeah, and especially if somebody comes back to play Invoke, they could probably like summon Window. You could just Chalice the Window right then and there,
of course,
and keep on playing.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I liked it. It was very, very helpful today. Came up a lot. Called by the Grave. I mean, it's the best card, man.
Until they hit the card, that card is just worth it.
It's just good. It hits Despia just in the Brandon in red, and it just protects you from different hand traps. Healer, Ash, not Imperm, but DD Crow. DD Crow did come up today, where it's,
really.
DD Crow, where they banish either like the 10 Ys in your grave that would get you into full combo. It's like you have the Ashuna, you have the Adhar, and you have the Monk. If you go Ashuna, you go into the Vishuddha, and that's like full combo. And if they DD Crow that and you don't have anything else, you kind of...
Yeah, you're dead in the water.
Yeah, you're just dead in the water. So it's very important to have this card. If it was at 3, I'd play at 3. But obviously it's...
Yeah, it's at 1, unfortunately.
Heavenly Circle, a lot of people opt out not to play this card, but it's the whole reason that you run Shithana. Because... It helps you dodge a bunch of hand traps, and a very neat interaction is if you go normal summon Moye, you reveal in hand, and they have a Mara Jade, they chain Mara Jade. You can use Heavenly Dragon Circle, tribute it for cost, resolves backwards.
Oh wow!
You search, and then they have to banish their own
monsters. Oh god, that's wild.
Mara Jade doesn't get his own effect, and then you still get the token. It's very good. That didn't come up today, but it dodged a lot of Veilers, a lot of Imprims to go into that Shithana, search it while you have the token, and bam, you have full combo. You just don't get the draw off of Moye.
Yeah, and have you played against any Mystic Mind players? Because that usually helps you out dodge.
Actually, yes, I played up against a going second Swordsoul player that he game 1 he Mystic Mind me after evenly matching droplets.
Oh god.
And so I was like, okay, we were just in a top decking situation. He was going to deck me out because he had more cards, and I had done the draw 2 combo off of Long Yuan and Moye. And then I had Shishao and Tae. I linked it off to go into Shaman once I drew the Heavenly Circle. I said it. He expected that, and he started trying to either kill me, try to get the Mystic Mind, or just make sure that the Mystic Mind stayed. And it just forced it out because he knew that was an option. He saw me play the first one. If he didn't see me play the first one, he might have not played around it. And but either way, it's very good. It's a very good option. It's how you get rid of a Mystic Mind if you're not playing something like Dark Hole.
Yeah.
Swordsoul. You play Emergence. 3 of it just adds so much consistency to the deck. And this is an option that a lot of people don't play. I like the Reborn. People don't play the Reborn because, it's really like a win more card, but in the situation that you draw Moye and you draw Long Yuan, you could search, and you have like Emergence or something, you could search the Tae, pitch it off of Long Yuan, and then use Shishao to search the spell so that you get an extra level 8 Synchro. Now, I play Dragite, I play Berserker, so it can be a lot. It's very good in different matchups. And then Vessel, you play 3, 2 Italian. But honestly, I think that no less than 3 is, is what you should be playing. This card gets you into so many different lines into the deck. either, Monk of Tenyi plus this just gets you a full combo into whatever you want to go. You could go the Chaofeng line, you could play around a Token Collector by going a Draco Berserker, or you could go into Shisha. Very good card, very useful. It's going to bait out in the gate, it's going to bait out something, or you're just going to generate so much advantage compared to the opponent.
And does summon allow you to play through Nib and all that?
Yes, the Chaofeng line locks your opponent out of light. So what you do is, any Tenyi that you have in hand plus this gets you into that. You special summon, go into Monk, and what this does, it foolishes, and if you have a non-effect monster, you can add a Tenyi. So you get, you foolish Ashuna, and then you can either do Adhar or Vishuddha, whichever one you didn't summon. Special summon it, Ashuna, special summon the other one, you go into Baxia. Baxia destroyed the Monk, special summon back the Adhar. You go into Chaofeng, since Baxia is a light, you play around Nibiru.
Yeah.
So, very good.
And summon?
And summon?
Did it help you allow you to play through Nibiru somewhat?
Not any time that I had to use summon, but it helps me play through boards.
Okay.
Negate boards is, they negate a lot of stuff. You've used your normal summon, they feel pretty confident, so they start using their resources. This, if you're able to just foolish, either using this or something else, or have a Taie engraved, maybe they didn't let you use the effect, you can special summon the Taie, and it just gets you into everything.
Okay.
So, I like the summon. It's a nice little extender, it's searchable, and it makes good hands better. That's what I'd say about it.
Okay.
I put it in last minute. I like it.
You didn't have any regrets?
I didn't have any regrets. It came up a lot, and it was good. And then just the one blackout. That's the only trap I played.
Would you ever want to play a second blackout?
I've considered it because it's, most of the time when I'm extending, I banish it to summon the token. But I feel like the one blackout is nice because you don't want to be drawing into another blackout.
Yeah, that's the worst.
And the desires, you don't really need, it didn't really come up where I banished it off of desires, but if it did, you play around it. It's not a big issue. Just check your banish before you try and go into this line.
Yeah.
That's all I recommend. Then we got the extra deck, pretty standard. 2 Shishao, Cheng Ying, and then you got the Longon. A lot of people say that going first, blind, it's better to go into Barone. I disagree. In this meta, I feel like this card's better than Barone because it serves as 2 disruptions. Against Therion, it's, either forces out the Regulus by threatening it when it summons itself. If they have the field spell, this also gets rid of that. It's 2 disruptions, it's good against Despia, it's good against Therion, it's amazing against Swordsoul. This card is a lot better than Barone in those matchups, but in general, Barone is a mainstay when you know what you're playing against.
Yeah, and especially with the draw too, right?
Yeah, exactly. This card is amazing when you go in draw 2, where you just have the Long Yuan, you go Moye. Summon this before you go into the Shichao, and then you go Shichao 1, Moye 2, Long Yuan 3, and then you draw 2 and you search 1. It gets you a lot of advantage, and it's what you need in the Tenyi matchup a lot of the time, and the Despia matchup, because they you don't want to get outvalued by them.
Yeah.
It's a mid-range format. You want to make sure that you have card advantage over them as much as possible. That's why it's important to recycle your use your Adhars to recycle your resources and make sure you have a lot of cards in hand for the follow-up if they're able to break through your initial board and hopefully not kill you. Then I play 2 Boxio. Some people opt into play 1, but because of the Vessel line where you go into Chaofeng, it's very important. So I play 2 for that reason, and this card's just amazing. It's just, you chain block the shuffle, it outs Mirror Jade without proccing Mirror Jade during the end phase. It's why I think that right now, Swordsoul is a very good matchup for Despia, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I love this card, I don't run 3 because it will just clog up the extra deck. You don't need 3, but 2 is definitely nice because you go into Chaofeng and you don't have to worry about, okay, if I go into Chaofeng, then I can't use Boxia later on if they break my board and I need to break their board.
Yeah.
Then Yazi. Yazi a lot of the time is how you're going to out Token Collector when you don't have access to the Tenyi lines. When you don't have access to the Tenyi lines, you can go ahead, use Long Yuan effect because it's optional for you to summon the token. Special summon itself, and then normal summon Adhar or Valor.
Oh, wow.
Which is why I like playing the hand trap line that I do, because they can also serve as tuners. Bell, Ash, and Veiler are all tuners. And if you go into Yazi and they have Token Collector, you can pop the Token Collector, and then you can special summon the Taie or Moye if you have a Swordsoul or Tenyi in hand.
Oh.
And it's also just non-targeting. It's very good against like random matchups like Altergeist. I didn't like play against it, but in testing, I played up against some, and this card like really came in handy.
Yeah. Because they can't target.
Then obviously the Chao Fang, you play it for the Boxia, locks your opponent out of light. Veiler, you play around Nibiru. And some people played into Lubellion, you know, they summon Lubellion and then they attempt to activate it. I'm like, oh, well, Chao Fang's on the board, and they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, they
keep on thinking that it's dark and Albion's the light one because he is light.
Yeah, the different attributes.
Then Barone, you play it, very good card. Most of the time it is actually better going second and against control decks.
Really?
I would say. Because once you summon it, it's gonna force out at least 2 disruptions because you're gonna try pop something, they're gonna chain something else, and they're gonna negate it. So it's very good going second. The only times I go into Chengying over this going second is when you have Pot of Desires and they basically have a clean board. Shishao and Chengying plus Pot of Desires is
it's at a game.
Yeah, it's game because it's 28. Then this becomes 4K off of Pot of Desires, and then you burn for 12 using Long Yuan. Then Adamant Dragite. This card. However the hell you say it.
Dragite.
I'm tired, man. This card is very good into both the control matchup and just the Despia matchup. A lot of time when you're going second, you have a Moye and your opponent has a bunch of back row. They let the Moye go off because they think that you have more if you open it first, like if you show the shooter or something like that. They don't want to get rid of it. And they think you're going to go Shishao, so they think, okay, I can handle that, no problem. You go Dragite, you have the Water Engrave with Moye, and then you have a Spawn Trap Negate live that you can now protect yourself from your other plays, like Long Yuan, and not have to worry about it. Caught a lot of people off guard today. They probably expect Crimson Blader. I took out Crimson Blader because I didn't like it. I felt like most of the time, you'd much rather go into something else. You're getting rid of all their cards, and you don't really have anything to swing over to lock them out.
Would you be playing Crimson Blader if you went second? If you were playing going second, Swordsoul?
I don't think even if I was going second, I would be playing it because just Boxia gets rid of so many cards, Barone gets rid of a card, and there's just so many cards that get rid of other cards that you're probably not going to have a target, and you'd much rather go for a game.
Yeah.
So then just Crimson Blader use the effect, and then okay, they're locked out for the turn, but you could have killed them that turn.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it. Draco Berserker, you play this card 100% because this is how you play around Token Collector. If you have Vessel plus any Tenyi, you can go ahead, go in the normal line. Instead of going into Boxia, you go into this, and then you go into your normal Swordsoul plays. If they activate Token Collector, this banishes from anywhere. Banishes from grave, banishes from hand, not from deck. Not there. So, and from field. So you could go ahead, very useful. It's how you play around Token Collector, and it's how you win matchups that you want to be banishing their materials instead of getting rid of them. Like Golden Lord, you want to be banishing it instead of, but you can't do it when he sends it from hand. It needs to be the graveyard effect because of location, rules, and everything. And then I play 3 Monk and 2 Shaman.
Damn, 3 Monk?
3 Monk because in my testing, a lot of the times I would be in the follow-up where I had to use 2 Monks to do the full combo, and then the 3rd Monk would really come up and it would be the entire reason that I would lose. So 3 Monks, in my opinion, is very nice. I've seen people play it and I agree with it. Originally I thought that 2 was enough. 3 is what you should be playing, in my opinion. It's essentially a starter, and make sure your vessels are almost always live. And Shaman's very good into playing going second. When your opponent negates a Moye or a Taie or something, if you search one, make sure that your Monk and your Moye can go into Shaman, and then if you have a Taie, you can special summon back the Taie, banish one from grave, and then go into a synchro. Since this locks you into Tenyi effects from the extra deck, it's probably better to go into this if you're trying to break their board. If not, then you can either go into, you could probably go into Shisha if you want the imperm. It's really a matter of preference. But overall, this is the extra deck I've been rolling with. I think this is basically the best extra deck that you can be playing right now in Swordsoul, and it's shown the most consistency and the most. It's come up the most.
Okay.
Now the interesting part about this deck is really going to be in the side deck. Other than the main deck being a 45 card list.
Oh wow, 45.
45 specifically. I was playing 44, but then I thought that the Reborn was really important. But 45 feels nice. It puts in everything that you need to be able to play around this format. There's too many different decks. It's not, okay, it's a tier 0 format like we've had in the past. This is a format where you're going to see a lot of Despia, but you're also going to see a lot of Swordsoul. You're going to see a lot of Therian. You're going to see Salads. You're going to see all these decks, Mystic Mine and Traplich. So you want to make sure that you have answers to everything. You don't want to just get steamrolled by one deck and then just make sure that you have the best deck against the top tables when you never reach the top tables.
Yeah.
So for the side deck, I played 3 Droll, 3 Dark Ruler, 2 LS, Harpy Featherstorm, a Red Reboot, 2 D Barrier, and 3 Anti-Spell.
Okay, so the draw is primarily for what?
So the Drolls, you can play them in the Swordsoul Mirror. If they start off with either Pot of Desires, Emergence, or Vessel, you can lock them out at Searching so they can't go into Shishao. It's very good against Despia if they're playing the gas
Their
version.
lure build? Yeah.
Yeah. Where they run like they allure 3 times in one turn.
Like get 8-9 cards.
Yeah, exactly. You want to make sure you stop that because that advantage you're just not going to be able to recover from. And this is very good against Therian. I've seen if they start off with the field spell or if they start off with any of their plant engine, this really stops them in their tracks and makes sure that you have a more playable board to play into.
Okay.
Dark Ruler, this is mainly for Therian and any other combo deck that you would find.
Even the mirror match.
Even in the mirror match, you ran it, but I felt like it wasn't necessary. A lot of time you want to go second in the Swordsoul mirror match because you could just bait out so many of their negates, so many of their disruptions with just the 10E package, and then you could go into the main line with the Swordsoul. But Dark Ruler does help in that, and I did side it a couple times. It's not necessary, but I like this card. It came up a lot of times and really helped me play through some boards I wouldn't be able to play through. These 4 cards is to respect the back row. You can't be playing a side deck without respecting the back row because you're just going to get beat out by stuff like Mystic Mine. You're going to be beat out by Skill Drain. You're going to be beat out by a lot of things that you just don't have main deck outs. As you see, I only play 1 blackout. If I had more blackouts, yes, I could get rid of more of the back rows in the deck, but you want to have more than that because at the end of the day, you're going to see traps at any regional and probably at any event because traps just tend to be budget, so you'll see them in the lower tables. Maybe you won't see them in the upper tables, but regardless, you have to respect it. If you don't respect it, you're going to get a bunch of losses that you shouldn't be getting.
So why not Twin Twister? Well, because they could probably anti-spell you.
They could anti-spell, and that did come up, and considering changing that, but I felt like LS is very good just because it's also a Despia side.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people weren't playing around LS. They're putting their monsters in attack mode. If you do this, they can't go into Chimera if you get rid of their board. You could, if you don't respect the trap, you can play Dark Hole instead of this.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is better in general because it gets you both on one of the top decks and it also respects the back row.
Yeah.
And then Red Reboot, this card would be a 3 of if it wasn't limited. This card's amazing. It saves you from either D barrier against yourself, from any trap lich, chaining, Feather Duster, and then chaining Red Reboot when they attempt to negate it. It's amazing. Pops their board and make sure you get a lot of stuff. Anti-Spell. This card comes in big when it comes into Despia, and even in the mirror match when you know you're going first, and you want to kind of trick your opponent. Better Swordsoul players, they'll expect to go first, but sometimes you could just trick them. You just gotta gauge them out as to whether they think they're gonna go first or not. Anti-spell just comes in. It's very good. It's helped me out. It allows people to not play through your boards a lot. And then D-barrier.
You started going second.
The God
I
card.
decided to go in second.
You cited it going second?
I cited it going second because specifically for Swordsoul, you just don't know if your opponent's gonna make you go first or go second. So I cited in a bunch of this back row because he was playing anti-spell, he was playing D-barrier, he was playing Imperm, all this stuff. So I had reboots, I had the back row hate, I had Dark Rulers, and then I wasn't sure if he was going to make me go first. I cited these in, taking out the Heavenly Circles, and he went first, he bricked. I had Dark Ruler. If he didn't, he just had some back row, and then I went ahead and drew into D-barrier. I kind of set up a Barone. He used an Imperm on it, and then I set D-barrier. Next turn, he was going to be able to play through the Barone if I didn't have the D-barrier.
Yeah.
I came in clutch for that game.
So going second, D-barrier could probably be good since you're breaking boards and just
Setting up your own board. Yeah, so I liked it personally. I tried finding it last minute to see if I could bump it up to 3. I think this card is very good this format. It helps you win the mare. I just think that you have to respect too many things. If this was a more leaning towards like 1 deck or 2 decks, then you could change up the side a lot. But this just tries to respect everything at the same time.
Yeah.
So you have an answer to something and you just don't auto lose to a lot of decks. That's how I play it.
and what about evenly? You never thought about evenly?
I did think about evenly, but you want to OTK a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't play evenly. That's why I try to just play back row. It is good if you go like Dark Ruler, they have a token, and then you go evenly. It's very good in that case. But you much rather would bait out a couple negates and then just try to OTK them.
All right, then. Any shout-outs that you have to give?
Shout out to my boy Adrian. He came with me. He made sure I played the regional. I wasn't going to play it today. And then he convinced me to do it. And then shout out to my boy Daniel. We played. Good match, and then we went ahead. That's about it.
Hey, congrats on the top 16, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Can't wait to see you in the Chicago.